I think by now we all know that Sinners came out this weekend. It's starring Michael B. Jordan. I think it's some sort of like Southern vampire movie, and it's produced by Ryan Coogler. Every time these people get together, every time these dudes get together, they make a hit. They make a classic. They did Fruitvale Station. That's a movie I'll never watch again. As good as it was, as good as the story was, it's too painful. I can't watch it. Then they came and did Creed. They did Creed 2. They did a couple. They did they did Black Panther. Now they've gone on to do Sinners, which has made $60 million in the opening weekend. They said that's one of the highest grossing original films in this decade. So from 2020 to now, it's one of the highest grossing original films. And I've got to be honest, I haven't seen it yet. And that's because I have small children. Eventually we'll see if grandma or grandpa can watch them. Then me and my wife will go out and when we got a few hours, we'll go out and see the movie. And I do like watching movies in theaters rather than sitting home watching them. So this is one I'm absolutely going to have to make. I wasn't able to make the War in Iraq movie so far. I wasn't able to make the SZA and Keke Palmer movie, but this movie, I'm going to go see it in theaters. I'm hearing that it's amazing. It got a 10 out of 10 on Rotten Tomato. But the reason I wanted to make this video was because of Ryan Coogler and the deal that he got from the studio when he was shopping this around. He said that one thing was important to him, and that was ownership. So let's get into this article. Let's find out exactly what the particulars are. And then, of course, we're going to come back. This article comes from AV Club. It says, Ryan Coogler's Sinners deal is reportedly freaking some executives out. Coogler gets back ownership of the Michael B. Jordan film in 2050. So we're not going to read every single thing. I did skip ahead a little bit here, but this says, this is per a recent deep dive from Vulture, which not only explored the terms of Coogler's unorthodox deal, but also found some anonymous Hollywood types calling it very dangerous, as well as to say it could be the end of the studio system, which was certainly a real boon to the headline writers. It's like this. Coogler, who was off a very serious run of hits, including Creed and 2 Black Panthers. Actually, I didn't like the second Black Panther, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought it was a little bit of a miss, right? They did try to wrap up after Chadwick Boseman had passed, tried to wrap up what was going on there while he was no longer in the series and try to pass the mantle. But I didn't like it that much, but it did well in the box office. But it says, when he was shopping the Michael B. Jordan project around, he had a number of requirements when he looked to hammer a deal out for Sinners with studios. Some of these were big acts, but not outside of the realm of possibility for a guy currently riding a series of major box office wins, final cut of the movie, and first dollar gross. That is, Coogler starts getting a portion of the film's profits from the moment it opens in theaters, rather than having to wait for the studio to make back its money. So they spent about $90 million making the movie. It's already got $60 million back so far. This is the first weekend. We can only expect that as the popularity grows, because it has a 10 out of 10 on Rotten Tomato and other movie review sites, that more people are going to see it. I'm going to see it. I'm sure that as social media picks this up, it's only going to get bigger and bigger. The real biggie, though, was one that more than one studio reportedly balked at. Coogler wanted ownership of the film to revert to him after 25 years. So they do go on in the article to talk about how this is not exactly the first time that this has happened. Mel Gibson did it with Passion of the Christ. It says Richard Linklater, I'm not sure who that is, but he has partial ownership of the movie Boyhood. I think that's the movie that followed a kid for a couple of years, 12 years or something. And Quentin Tarantino gets ownership of a movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a couple of decades. Earlier, they said this is a disaster for Hollywood, and how are they going to survive if they can't manipulate people and keep all the ownership rights to the movies that they make. But I think this is going to be an interesting thing that happens, as people with that sort of cachet, as they request this in the years to come. But I do think that it has some interesting ripple effects down the line, because right now, the way that I understand the system and the way that it looks is these studios, they own all of the IP in perpetuity. So when these streamer platforms try to negotiate a deal, they have to pay that studio. But if the creators start to own the IP after a certain time, that timeline may move back further and further. Hey, is it going to be 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years? Where the studios, they no longer own the rights to put that up on streaming, where the person that owns it has to be paid directly or something. So in 25 years, if this movie is up on Netflix, does it get taken down and they have to pay Ryan Coogler or negotiate with him directly, probably because he's going to own the movie. So I see where Hollywood is worried. They're like, hey, our business model predicates on us owning this stuff, us being able to sell it to this person or that person or lease it out and get some money and get the money for putting it up on these platforms. We already know that the DVD business has gone away, the Blockbuster and rental business has gone away, and now the streaming business seems to all be like mushing into a certain number of platforms. You have Disney, Hulu, and ESPN all under the same umbrella. Netflix has their thing, Paramount has their thing. When you start to change like who has the ownership of this stuff, when it's the directors or the creators, and it's no longer just the studio because they put the money out up front, you start to change the business model of Hollywood. And then, of course, eventually it's at risk of dying. Now, you have to have the cachet to request this sort of deal, of course. But as we have more and more stars that do request this, it's going to change the dynamic and the landscape of how they do business. But those are my thoughts. Like I said, I haven't seen Sinners just yet. We do plan to go see it. But Ryan Coogler has requested not only for ownership after 25 years, he requested to be paid up front as soon as the movie dropped and it started generating money. And he requested final cut of the movie. If you like the video, subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. If you have something to say, let the world know. This is the place for discourse. Till next time. Peace.